A link to the entire interview is in the description. Tommy Kiefer is in the band still at this point when you come over to the States?
Oh yeah, he came back with us.
How would you describe him?
Well, when I joined the band, they already kind of took me to the side and warned me that he's a nice guy, great guitar player, but he's on drugs most of the time or drinking alcohol. You know how it is with people like that. But I found him to be very friendly, a really nice guy. He visited me in London as well. And so I was ready to compromise and be, how can I say, more thoughtful with him. But in the end, he was coming on stage for a sound check with an untuned guitar and falling over his own feet. And the band, the management kind of started to think about a replacement. And I said, does it have to be? And said, yeah, well, schedules are going to get tighter and things are going to get tougher. The pace is going to get faster and he won't catch up. And better to do it now and tell him to stay at home, take someone else, than to face it in the middle of a tour when we're not at home. You don't know who to call, and then you're going to be caught with your pants down, so to speak. So that's what we did. We played Reading Festival, and Saxon was headlining, and wow, that show really blew us away. It was really nice to see Saxon with Biff up front, and we've got competition. We can't keep someone who's weakened through his addictions on board. And we had to do without Tommy.
But Tommy ends up killing himself, right?
Oh, yeah. It was like a bleak, foggy morning. I was in Solothurn then, staying at a friend's place. We had just partied the night before. And so around 10 in the morning, a girlfriend of mine comes in, and her face was down to the ground and tears in her eyes. And she said, did you know? She told me about Tommy, and the whole town knew about it by the end of the day. And it was really tragic.
Did he shoot himself or hang himself or what?
He hung himself in the band's rehearsal room.
In Krokus's room?
It was the old rehearsal room before I joined the band. Yeah.
You guys didn't seem like a big partying band. Is it just kind of normal levels of drinking? I mean, once Tommy's out of the band?
Well, we had our beer, our wine, and our smoke, basically. I was the guy who had a bottle of Remy Martin, hidden away in the bunk. It was like a way to come down and get ready for bed. I was always the last guy to go to the bunk because I like to pull out something totally different to pacify my ears and my system. Something like Stevie Winwood. I had this cassette called Ark of a Diver, or I had the Moody Blues, or I listened to classical music. This was like in the front lounge, in middle of the night. Everyone's in the bunks, and I've got all the curtains up so I can see the stars outside. And the driver in the front is doing his thing, driving. Turn on the music, not full blast, but kind of wind down, have a sip of Remy and meditate on what's going on, what's been happening and stuff before going to bed myself. And I always used to be the last one up. Singers need a lot of sleep for the vocal cords. Basically, that was it in the early days. But by the time we hit Headhunter, I think there were guys in the band doing some white lines, on the mirror. But more than that, it's like, no, nobody got into anything heavier, thank God, because that's too destructive. Once it gets you, you never get off it. For me, having to take care of my vocal cords was my first duty to myself and the band. So I didn't overdo it. I had my time, my good time, and my long sleeps. And after lunch, I would go to do interviews. But I enjoyed it. I liked meeting people, drinking a coffee in a radio station and seeing what questions they wanted to ask that day. Maybe do 2 or 3 different radio stations before going back to the gig for a sound check, or sometimes doing a sound check first and then going to do an interview. And I got to see the cities that we played in as well, you know, cab ride to the station, see what the city's all about, what the buildings look like, and the man in the street, people in the streets. So, yeah, basically it was, for me, one big adventure.